Chapter 13. Finished, Elizabeth announced as she dropped the typeset pages for the next edition of the Oracle into a box marked to printer. I've just proofread the definitive article on Jessica and Winston's shipwreck, she told Olivia Davidson, who had been working along with her in the cluttered office of Sweet Valley High's newspaper. I hope that it answers everyone's questions, and that I never have to hear about it again. Olivia pushed her frizzy brown hair back from her forehead and smiled sympathetically. That bad, huh? It's all anyone wants to talk about lately, Elizabeth said. And Jessica's not doing anything to end the gossip. She's told me 17 versions of her own story, each one more unbelievable than the last. Elizabeth sighed deeply and rolled her eyes in mock exasperation. Still, she couldn't help smiling as she thought of how Jessica had managed to turn a calamity into another opportunity to be the center of attention. Leave it to your twin, Olivia said, echoing Elizabeth's musings. She gets marooned with a guy on a desert island, while some of us around here barely remember what it's like to go on a date. Oh, Olivia, Elizabeth joked. I don't think an overnight trip with Winston is exactly a romantic fantasy come true. Would you really have wanted to be in Jess's place? Olivia pretended to consider it for a moment, then she laughed. I guess not, she admitted. She grew more serious. It's just that I haven't really been interested in anyone since Roger and I split up, and I'm ready for a little excitement. Olivia stood up and put her own work in the folder for the printer. I'm about done here, too, she said. Wait a minute, and I'll walk out with you. The hallway was quiet as Elizabeth and Olivia left the office. Gee, I had no idea it was so late, Elizabeth said. It looks like we're the only ones left in the building. Just then, footsteps sounded from both ends of the corridor. Liz, Olivia, I'm so glad I found you. Penny Ayala, editor-in-chief of the Oracle, called from one direction. Lizzie, wait up! I've got exciting news, Jessica called from the other. Looks like you spoke too soon, Olivia commented to Elizabeth. Penny reached them first. I wanted to let you two know that we're going to have to rearrange the layout of some pages in the paper tomorrow for an announcement, she said, a little out of breath. Mr. Collins just told me that Sweet Valley High is going to have an experimental program of mini-courses. Local experts will come in to teach classes like acting, filmmaking, photography, even computer game design. It'll be a chance to study subjects the school doesn't offer or that students can't fit into their schedules. So you heard too, Jessica said, coming up behind them with Lila Fowler at her side. Sounds great, doesn't it? And the best part of it all is no grades. I heard Veronica Berry, the artist, was going to give a course in jewelry design, Lila said. But I also heard there might be a modeling course. Ugh, said Jessica. Why would you want to take either one of those courses with 100 other girls? I'm considering electronics. Just think, if I signed up for that, I'd be surrounded by a room full of boys for an hour every day. While Jessica and Lila argued over which mini-course to take, Olivia considered the news. What she had told Elizabeth a few moments earlier was true. Her life was in a real rut lately. She went to classes, worked on the paper, and spent time with her friends, but her heart wasn't in it. It was as though she were waiting for something to happen, even though she didn't know exactly what it was. Maybe mini-courses had something to do with it, and not just because they would mean a chance to take a new class. Sure, that would be fun. Olivia had always wanted to know more about photography, for instance. But mini-courses would also mean a major change in her dull routine, a chance to meet new people, especially boys. Everyone in her usual classes was so used to thinking of Olivia and Roger as a couple that Olivia suspected the boys she already knew wouldn't even think of asking her out. But if she was taking a new course with new boys who didn't think of her that way, she imagined herself in photography class, developing her pictures in the darkroom, A tall, handsome boy would walk in, someone she didn't know, had never even seen before. Their eyes would meet, and a charge of electricity would pass between them. "Olivia, did you hear me?" Elizabeth was saying. Olivia said dreamily. Jessica, Elizabeth, Lila, and Penny were all staring at her, waiting for her to speak. "I said mini courses sound terrific, don't they?" "Oh, yes," Olivia agreed. "Terrific." She felt her cheeks grow warm, as if the others could somehow know what wild thoughts she had been having. Wild, maybe, but as they all walked together out of the building, Olivia couldn't shake the feeling that something terrific was waiting for her just around the corner. Will Olivia Davidson find the romance she's been dreaming of when mini courses come to Sweet Valley High? Find out in Sweet Valley High number 57, Teacher Crush, which I don't have, sorry. That's the end of the book.